Are we supposed to hear that? We're kicking.
Well, after a dominating 50-20 victory over Flint Powers at Cardinal Stadium last week, Davison is back out on the road tonight for what could be the game of the year in the Saginaw Valley League. Good evening to you. Welcome to Frank Thomas Field as the Cardinals in Week 5 face the fellow undefeated Grand Blanc Bobcats. Chris Jared with you from the campus of Grand Blanc High School and what's going to be one of the biggest road matches for the Cardinals in this season. You thought that the last road match for Davison at Carmen Ainsworth was a thriller. This one has all the makings to be just the same. Chris Jared with you on DTV, Charter Cable Channel 191. For the first time in my life, joined alongside my brother, Andrew Jared. And Andrew, on your broadcasting debut, you've got plenty of experience, however, in Davison football. Go ahead and tell
a little bit.
What you do with
First
Davison.
time doing something like this, Chris.
Yeah.
I've called a few middle school games under Randy Schlack, but I've never done something like this before. But I'm looking forward to it, man. We got a beautiful night. A little windy here in Grand Blanc, but I'm looking forward to a great game.
Lights are on at Grand Blanc High School, and Andrew mentioned the weather. It was a little warmer during the day, mid-70s. Sun was out, but you could tell that the clouds are in the sky. But as we press on into the nighttime, it's going to get darker, and that wind is going to be a big factor coming from the west, blowing to the east. Cardinals won the coin toss. They'll kick first, and it's going to be a low boot from Kinkle, and it's going to be caught actually on a line drive and received by the Bobcats, and a return up the far end. A little bit of some broken tackles, but it's going to be taken past the 30-yard line. And Andrew, you said that your first game tonight, you've certainly got a good one in front of you, as do the rest of us. A lot of fans coming from Davison for this game, old Davison alumni, and even fans just in general. And the Bobcats section is full as well for what's senior night for the Bobcats cheerleaders and their football squad. And here comes the Grand Blanc Bobcat offense to start things out at what's going to be scoreboards to our right. Marker shows on their own 31-yard line, 1st and 10. Still awaiting the play call from the Bobcats sideline. We take the chance to introduce, and if you're new to it, the Davison Cardinal defense that's been great all year long, one of the best in the SVL in terms of holding defenses to yards total per game, and they've certainly got a test tonight against the high-powered Bobcat offense.
Yep, looking forward to watching some strong...
First and 10, Grand Blanc at their own 31. You'll get there. You're just starting off. Lead him, the quarterback, dropping back, looking to throw, and he's got a man over the middle, and then some space, and it's a foot race. On the first play of scrimmage, Grand Blanc with a touchdown. No flags on the play, it looks like. 69-yard touchdown reception for the Bobcats, and just what looked like a simple slant right over the middle to Nate Snyder, the 6-foot senior. So I beg your pardon, there was a flag, Andrew, and it was on the far sideline, but it looks like it was a sideline infraction. Boy, a tough start for the Cardinal defense, who knew that they were going to have their hands full, Andrew, but on the first play, they'd go all the way to the other end of the field and score a touchdown just on one play. That's a tough start, but you just got to look to rebound after that. And so the Bobcats, just on one play, they go right over the middle and score a touchdown. So this is what we can probably expect is going to be the tempo of the game, is just Davison's just going to have to respond, and it's just all about, keeping your composure on the road. So if this game wasn't enough to get the Bobcats excited, that one play touchdown is certainly going to do the trick. It was really nothing complex for the Bobcats. Tyler Leadham dropped back and just had a man open as they just sent Snyder right over the middle of the field, and he was able to catch it and got his space, certainly displaying the speed, and he was gone. So now Davison won the coin toss, deferred to the second half, and they quickly find themselves in a hole, trailing 7-0. What was interesting about the Carman Ainsworth game and a squad in the Cavaliers that was proven so strong offensively, Michael Fletcher comes out and throws 3 interceptions in that first quarter. And in that 5-minute mark, the Bobcats found themselves up 21-0. And that was just in the first 5 minutes of the game. Graham Blanc, afterwards, Clint Alexander, the head man for the Bobcats, said that in years past, they kind of got off to a slow start, and they knew that, and that was something that they haven't done so far this season. It's been the Bobcats' high-powered offense, and that's what we saw just on one play, 69 yards for a Bobcat touchdown. Boot is off and away, and it's a high one. Looks like it's going to bounce right at the 15-yard line, and we're going to see a Cardinal return.
So picked up by Caleb Smith, number 17.
Yep, that's right. So it took a bounce right at the 15-yard line, and good thing about that return is that it looked like it went right into him, but he was able to take it in stride and then get some yards after that. Well, so the senior Cannon Hall going to have to take out the Cardinals and lead them out onto offense. And, boy, certainly a tough situation to respond to after the Bobcats are able to score in the first play. Now you got to lead your team out on the road in a hostile environment and try and settle things down a bit. Cardinals are going to have it 1st and 10 at what looks like in front of the 35. It's going to be about at the 32, 33-yard line. Man in motion is Jamerson. Hall with the give to Michael Jamerson on the near sideline, and he cuts it up to get the yards. Looks like just shy of the 40-yard line. First down marker at the 41, but a good carry right there for one of the best ball movers on the Cardinal offense.
Yep, that was a nice strong run there by Jamerson. Good to see that that run after being the first play.
Right, and you notice too, as he got the run and he was coming to the sideline, he just cut it up too and got those yards when he noticed that he had a gap to fill. So 2nd and short. Cardinals on a strong play on their first play of scrimmage. Jamerson again in motion. Hall is going to keep it himself. Looked like he bobbled it a bit, but has some space on the near sideline. Has the first down and then some. Cannon Hall pushed out of bounds after a big carry as he kept it that time, had a man in motion, and the Cardinals moving the ball on their own. And Cannon Hall showing the Bobcat defense what he can do himself.
Yep, we all know Cannon likes to run. If he's not passing, he will run.
And then that play right there designed, it looked like he kind of had it bobble as he had it right in his right in front of his chest and kind of bobbled it off of Jamerson's
It did
elbow,
look like that, yeah, a little bit.
Kept it himself and was able to get the yards and get a Cardinal first down as they now press on into Grand Blanc territory. Ball at the, looks like 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Harrison Terry out towards the far sideline. Brendan Sullivan on the near end as Hall is joined by Jamerson in the backfield. Going to keep it himself again and wait for something to develop. Spins off of a pile and trying to stretch to the 40-yard line. Another strong carry right there by Cannon Hall. And you notice that he didn't really rush anything, and he was patient and just got the yards that were in front of him. So good,
yes,
strong
he was
carry.
patient. He's a very athletic kid, too, Chris.
Second down and about halfway to go to a first down. Looks like it's at the 41-yard line. Davison Cardinal defense going to have to try and come back out and go back to the drawing board on defense when they come back out. It was a 69-yard touchdown reception. Bobcats started right at the 31-yard line and were able to go the distance on just one play. So now it's Slazak in motion as Hall's going to keep it himself and go to the far end. Following some blockers, Cannon with some space across the 30-yard line before he's finally taken down. Another Davison first down thanks to the legs of Cannon Hall.
Yep, went to the opposite side of the field there. Nice, another strong run by Cannon, good enough for a first down.
And we saw Slazak there in motion, not usually something that we've seen, at least in this game so far. Usually you see a man in motion, and it's
Ben
Caleb
Jamerson.
Smith, Jamerson.
Yeah.
Yep. So Slazak right there, you get the wide receiver in motion. Bobcat defense have yet to hold Davison to anything minimal. Brendan Sullivan with a lot of space on the near sideline. And that's Cortez Tolles, a 6'2 defensive back senior. As Hall's going to give it to Jamerson again this time. Fighting his way, what looks like across the 20-yard line, pushing his way, trying to bulldoze to get closer to that down marker. Didn't get all of it, but got a good chunk there on first down. Going to bring up about 2nd and 4 for the Cardinals. So Graham Blanc making some defensive changes as they bring in a few subs. Davison been moving the ball substantially down the field. Fresh into this game, about 2.5 minutes between the Cardinals and the Bobcats played, and Graham Blanc on a fresh 7-0 lead. Hall with 2 men split out to his left side. Harrison Terry out to his right as he's going to give it to Jamerson up the middle. Michael will take it, falling into the tackle, and it looks like he got the first down. I think he did, Andrew.
Nice.
Right in front at about the 16-yard line of the 15. Cardinal first down, 1st and 10 as they get closer and closer to that goal line. Cannon Hall looking towards the sideline to first-year head coach Jake Weingartz, who has come into this Davison program, came in around the beginning of 2018, around January, February, and got right to work. Not just with a football team, but in the classroom as well.
Yeah, Jake's a great guy, Chris. I really like him.
Yep, and the players and everybody in the community have really come around to him as well. Hall's going to take it up the middle himself, sheds off a tackle with some space, trying to get to the goal line, and it looks like he's going to be a little bit shy at about the maybe 2-1-yard line.
Good enough for a first down, though, Chris.
That's right. That athleticism, Cannon keeps it and sees a gap in a lane and completely fills it. Gets it all the way to about the Davison, or I should say Graham Blanc 2-yard line. 1st and goal Cardinals as Logan Pasco coming in for Davison. You see the old 35 jog into the huddle.
Hey, he's usually on defense.
That's right. Logan Pasco listed on the roster as running back, linebacker, but you can notice as they bring in a heavy formation to the Cardinals. Hall alone is going to take the snap, follow everybody up the middle. Did he get in? Waiting on the official,
there
yes.
We go.
Touchdown Cardinals. After Graham Blanc scores on their opening drive, Davison comes right down and returns the favor. Pending the extra point, Cardinals are a kick away from tying this game.
That's what you want to see. Davison responds.
That's right. And now what's going to be interesting is see how the Cardinal defense comes out onto the field. See Jake Weingartz there in the near sideline fired up. Andrew, he came into this game feeling that Davison didn't really get as much recognition as they felt they should. The talk was that the Cardinals were going to be up against a tough test, which they certainly are, but he felt that Davison wasn't giving the respect that they should have gotten. A little bit of a line drive snap, but Kinkle's able to fight it in. And that one looked like it went right into the chest of McLaughlin, who had to hurriedly get it down on the ground, a quick play it, and Kinkle was able to work with what he was given, gets it through the uprights.
That's right.
To make this 7-7. Wasn't the cleanest snap, but
nope.
we got a lot of game. Right. We got a lot of game in front of us.
What matters is that it went through.
That's right. Cannon Hall this season on the ground, 518 yards coming into this game, and that's certainly going to change as Davison had it starting at their 35-yard line. 11 touchdowns on the ground, and that one right there making it number 12 for the senior this season, who leads the SVL in just touchdowns combined, whether it's passing or rushing himself, doing it all. Cannon has been a big, I think it's safe to say, it's certainly no secret that he's been one of the biggest pieces for the Cardinal offense this season.
You're right, Chris. He's such an athletic kid. I love watching him play. Yeah. He's strong. He's fast. He's got a great arm. He takes after his dad.
And what you notice, too, is it's the smarts. He's able to give it when he needs to give it and pull it when he understands that he's got some space to work with, and that's just the thing. When he doesn't, he's able to find some room to maneuver with. Kinkle boots it away, and a better kick.
Nice kick.
Kicks it into the wind, and the Cardinal fans like it. No chance of a return for Malik Basher-Cager, the 5'7" return man for the Bobcats, who was able to get it to, I believe, the 25, 30-yard line where Grand Blanc had it. Now they'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. Wasn't too long ago where Grand Blanc, or it was on the 31, where the Bobcats, just on one play, went right over the middle, and Tyler Leadham was able to connect to Nate Snyder for a 69-yard touchdown pass. Just one play. Leadham, a transfer from Goodrich, really not the highest up to the top of the leaderboard in terms of passing in the SVL this season. See some personnel confusion for the Bobcats. Sylvester Jones has to hurriedly get on the field quickly. Bobcats still awaiting what the call is, and now they call him off the field as Jones has to dart to the far sideline. You wonder where the play clock is at. So Leadham going to drop in the backfield, looking for options, gets the pressure from the Cardinals, and he might keep this himself, but running out of time as Caleb Smith and Logan Pasco are able to bring the quarterback down for a loss.
Yeah, nice tackle there by Logan Pasco.
One of the hammers for the Cardinal defense. And you could tell right there that Leadham didn't like his initial options and just had to try to make something do and ran out of time quickly. And so now it's going to be a loss on the play for Grand Blanc. Second, not much. Second down and 11, it looks like, upcoming. Leadham in the shotgun, dropping back, looking for options. Pressure again, and he's brought down in the backfield. Cardinals knew that they were going to do this. They had done it well all season long, collapsing that pocket on any quarterback that they can, and they get to lead them back-to-back times right there and bring him down in the pocket.
Chris, I think that was number 85, Harrison Unger.
He's just a sophomore.
Yeah.
A lot of potential and upside to the sophomore in front of him.
Strong kid.
Yep, making plays from the defensive end side. Lead him with 3rd and long. 3 men split out to his right side. And this is where the Bobcats shine, is in a passing scenario. Lead him out of time, trying to make something. In pressure is Unger, throws, and it's out of bounds. Harrison Unger able to get to lead him and force a poor throw towards the Cardinal sideline. And Davison getting to the Bobcat quarterback and forcing Grand Blanc to punt it away on their second drive.
Yeah, Davison's got to feel good about that one. 3 and out, looking to get the ball back here. Hopefully we can score again.
And take the lead in this game where Grand Blanc was able to get the opening kick and on one play goes 69 yards for a touchdown. And then that's a heck of a response by the Cardinal defense, bringing the pressure to get to lead them. Colton Alexander, the 6'2", listed as a defensive back, but coach's kid, one of the best kickers in the SVL, and you'll see why right here. Takes it long and rolls to his right. That one's going to be booted in front of midfield, and it's going to stop in front of the 45 at about the 44-yard line. Fantastic stand by the Cardinals defensively, setting themselves up in great field position for Cannon Hall to come back out, Andrew, just like you mentioned, and potentially take a lead in this ball game. Last time out on offense, it seems that they were working their plays really well. Never even had to go in the air once. We're just mixing it well between Hall and Jamerson all the way down the field for a touchdown.
Well, it's tough, Chris, going with this wind. You never know.
That's right. Got to keep and that was really the talk before the game was, when you're walking from the parking lot at Grand Blanc High School to the stadium, heavy winds. What would we say? What we said before the game, maybe 10, 20 miles per hour?
At least, Chris. I would say maybe even up to 20.
Hall in the shotgun, going to fake the give to Jamerson, keeping himself on the near sideline with the gap, trying to hit the hole. As you see the Bobcats trying to strip the football, but unsuccessful as Cannon carries the pile all the way to the 25-yard line on one play, gets Davison a first down.
That's right.
So the Cardinals moving the ball on the Bobcat defense, who was given a test against Midland Dow, one of the best teams in the SVL when you consider the two. How about the Saginaw Valley League this year loaded? You consider Lapeer, Davison, Grand Blanc, Carmen Ainsworth, who's had a tough stretch. They had a hard Davison team play them at home and, able to steal one away from the Cavs. And then right after that, they got to come to Grand Blanc and play them. So a lot of people looking at the Cavaliers, but understand how tough the SVL is this season. Hall with options, 2 out to his right, 1 to his left, with Michael Jamerson in the backfield with him. Takes the snap and gives it to Michael. Stiff arm, looking for some space. A cut up the middle. Into the end zone for a Cardinal touchdown.
Boom, baby.
Davison
run
on
there by
top.
Jamison.
Look at that run up the middle. Stiff arm, able to buy the space and get into the end zone. Ooh, a flag flies on the play.
Wow, Chris, I think that was well after the touchdown.
Yeah, no,
Might be unsportsmanlike conduct.
This will stand, but let's see where they assess it to as the officials. I mean, that. I wonder who that was going to go against. As Hall, Harrison, Terry, and Jamerson were all celebrating with each other. But Andrew was right. That was well after the touchdown. How about this Davison offense, though, that has proven game in and game out what they're capable of? Let's hear what the call is here. So I hear it's unsportsmanlike on the Cardinals, which is kind of what we thought it would be, but we don't have the particulars of it, who it was or where it was.
So that'll be enforced on the kickoff, correct, Chris?
I believe so, unless they move the kick back here on Kinkle, which I don't think they're going to do. They could potentially assess it on the kick. But pending the extra point, Connor Kinkle trying to put the Cardinals in front 7. Kicking into the wind here. Last time was a tough snap. This one much better as Kinkle soars it through the uprights. Perfect kick executed by Connor Kinkle, and that'll put Davison in front 14-7 on the road with 5:54, a little under 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. We continue to talk about it, but the storylines of this game was how tough this game is going to be. So, unsportsmanlike conduct, you want it to be disciplined. One of the things you told me before the game is that discipline and penalties was going to be something that you just can't afford in a game where, you're up against enough already in terms of Grand Blanc undefeated. And the penalties that Cardinals had last week against Flint Powers, but at least it didn't really affect the scoring there as the Cardinals are able to, after Grand Blanc scored the first touchdown, come all the way down and just score not once on their first drive, but then repeat it on their second.
I would say comparatively speaking, Chris, if you're looking at last couple years, penalties this year have been less.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty well-disciplined team. I've been impressed so far.
And, it's attitude reflects leadership. I think that's a big thing worth noting, too. And when Weingart stepped into this position, I asked him, so you take the head coaching job. What's one of the first things you work on with your program? And he said, hammering the mentality that discipline can't be turned on and off like a switch. It's on and off the field, and you've got to really turn it on.
Another nice kick there, Chris. It rolls in the end zone.
Cardinals celebrating like it's a touchdown as they're able to soar it into the end zone for a touchback. These two teams haven't really seen each other a whole lot when you consider the last 10 years, but this is a rivalry that goes long in history.
Way
the 59th meeting between Grand Blanc and Davison. Bobcats and Cardinals, longtime Big Nine foes when Grand Blanc joined the Big Nine in 1960. And, you could really count on playing Davison every single year given certain situations and circumstances, but left in 2009. First play for the Bobcats. They keep it on the ground as passing certainly didn't work for Grand Blanc on their last time around. Short gain on the play is going to bring up maybe second down and 6, maybe 5, call it, for the Bobcats. Last time out, the Davison defense got to quarterback Tyler Leadham 3 straight times, twice thanks to Harrison Unger to make it 3rd and long where the Bobcats would punt it away. Pump fake for Leadham now in the shotgun over the middle, and it's going to be caught. And in front of the 45-yard line, reception by Nick Erlenbeck, the 5'11 senior, hauls it in for a first down.
Wrapped up quickly there by Ray Cole.
He was, too. And you notice that touchdown was right over the middle, and that was when Snyder had a lot of space. When he caught it, and then he was able to turn and look, and really no one was around him over the middle. But right there, Andrew mentioned Ray Cole able to get there. Cole, a pick 6 last game against Powers. Lead him in the shotgun, going to keep it on the ground again as a flag flies in the air. Bobcats past the 50, but this may come back. Right at the line of scrimmage by the near official. Andrew, you notice that after that catch by the Bobcats, had that been on their first drive, this place would have gone crazy. But I think the back-to-back Davison touchdowns have settled things down here on the road a bit. You really get that energy off of the catch. It just kind of seemed like it was not that big of a play, but it was a huge throw for Leadham. And so this is going to be coming back. Chains never moved. They're going to redo first down here as they move the Bobcats back 5. So the Cardinal offense stepping into a big stage here tonight in Week 5. Now it's the Davison defense who executed the last time out. It's just A lot of game in front of us. Going to have to do it all night long. Same with the Cardinal offense. This is a tough team that likely won't quit. Lead him in the shotgun, going to throw it here. Over the middle, and it looked like Unger got a hand up.
I think so, Chris.
And that one might have been intended for Cedric Givens, the 6'4" tight end. 215, a lot of weight on that young man, wearing 87. Was the intended receiver, but Unger was able to leap in the air, anticipating that throw from Leadham, and break up the rhythm between quarterback and receiver. So 2nd down and 15. Bobcat offense, after that first play, have been struggling to find their rhythm. Officials waving hands here. What's the call? Haven't seen a signal for a timeout yet. That might have just been two officials communicating with each other there, making sure they're on the same page.
Yeah, the Grand Blanc offense looks a little out of sync right now.
I think they do too, and you can really accredit that to the Cardinal defense getting into the backfield after Leadham. A quarterback who's had plenty of weapons this year. You look at who he can throw to. Ryder Brotebeck, a running back that we saw go to him on the ground, but Nick Erlenbeck, who made the reception earlier on this drive for the touchdown. Last game against Carmen, 3 catches for 104 yards. Leadham dropping back, looking. Pressure again, gets rid of it over the air, and it's caught. McLaughlin able to wrestle him down, but a big pitch and catch, as I believe it was Ethan Asperger who's able to come down with it. We mentioned Erlenbeck's game last week for Grand Blanc. Asperger, a 51-yard touchdown catch last week against the Cavs. And you see right there, a small athletic frame, and he's able to do the job.
And nice play there by Leadham, able to scramble, get out of the pocket, and find an open receiver downfield.
And so Leadham now with a 1st down after that holding penalty, was facing 2nd and 15. Gave up the middle. Not much going on there for Grand Blanc, as it was Brotebeck. Listed on the roster as a quarterback, but number 7 doesn't get far there. Give him 3 yards. 2nd and 7, the scoreboard shows. 4 minutes left in this first quarter. Cardinals in front, 14-7. Lead him with 2 out to his left, 2 to his right. Going to drop, pump fake the screen, looking over the middle, out of time, has to get rid of it, won't, and he's dropped in the backfield behind the 30-yard line. Going to be a big loss on the play coming up 3rd down.
Looks like Ray Cole and Cal Stefanko worked together on that one to bring down the quarterback.
Wrestled him down there. A couple wrestlers for the Cardinals in the winter season, but just threats for the Cardinals on defense. 3.5 to play here in the first quarter, as the Bobcats have been held off the scoreboard since their first play of scrimmage. 3rd and long. Scoreboard shows 3rd and 12, as it's looked like a sweep to the near end, but cutting it back to the far end. Pressure from Stefanko.
That's Ray Cole, Chris. He made a great open field tackle.
It was Ray Cole. Looked like 3, but it was 2 instead. And that's going to bring up 4th down. And what looked like a promising play from Malik Basher-Cager. The man in motion had the speed, stopped, turned around, and was cutting it back to the far sideline. But you saw Cole come flying out of nowhere and made that tackle.
4th down here for the Bobcats. Let's see what they do.
Grand Blanc going for it on 4th down and 4. After that sweep from Basher-Cager, got a decent amount of yards back, but Cole kept it to preventing getting a 1st down here. 2.5 left, and I think the Bobcats are going to talk this over, and they will. Davison fans, plenty of reason to be excited here early in the first quarter. Timeout taken at 2:26, 14-7 our score. Bobcats facing a big 4th down here. Boy, this has been a chippy drive for Grand Blanc, Andrew. You kind of consider where they started. It was back deep at the 20-yard line after another kick from Kinkle, maybe with some help of the wind, but regardless, went through the back of the end zone, and the Bobcats had to start at their own 20. They were facing 2nd and long at one point after a hold, but a couple times able to convert and get 1st downs. But now facing 4th and 4 as they're looking to try and tie this ball game. A 1st down would give it to Grand Blanc right inside the 20-yard line in the Cardinal red zone. Davison defense needing one more stop. Both teams out of their timeouts, coming back out onto the field. Let's see what we see on 4th and 4. Bobcats going for it. 3 receivers split out to the right of Leadham, 1 out to his left, man in the backfield, but Bobcats will likely be passing here, I would anticipate. Grand Blanc trying the cold count, not working. Quick adjustment by Leadham before waiting the snap. Takes it. No, they give up the middle. Was it enough? I believe it might have been. Big stop for the Cardinals, but just not enough as Graham Blanc able to get, it looked like just a yard in front of the down marker for a fresh set, 1st and 10.
Tough one.
That's a tough break. It looked like he had the guys there, but I think it was just the size and speed of Brotebeck at 5'10", 217. That's a big frame. Able to get the first down. So Leadham over center now as he fakes the give, looking to throw. Unger around the edge. Pressure in the backfield. Leadham out of time, and he's pushed out of bounds as the Davison defense is able to rally to the scene. Josh Hart, Harrison Unger able to get there in time to force the pressure on Leadham for a big loss. You look at where he was forced out of bounds in the initial down marker. I mean, that's about a 10-yard loss there on 1st and 10. And so after a big momentum break for Graham Blanc, converting on 4th and 4 on a tough Davison defense, a big step in the wrong direction for the Bobcats offensively. 2nd and 18, the scoreboard shows, as Leadham is in the shotgun. Dropping back, pump fake, looking over the middle, fires in the air, and well in front, but Ray Cole was in the area looking to make an interception. That one was intended for Erlenbeck, who's had a big catch on this drive already, but how about Ray Cole able to hover over top and make that a tough throw? Really impossible there for Leadham to make. And just, I think maybe Andrew might have just thrown that in front of Cole so where he couldn't make a play on it, and might have just thrown it out of the area of anyone.
They sure like attacking the center of the field, Chris.
You're right. I mean, that was where the touchdown was scored and the first down as well. 3rd and 18, Leadham rolling, looking for anyone. Incomplete pass on the far end. Bobcats get stopped after they get the 4th and 4 conversion, and it's going to be 4th down and 18 now where, I mean, that's a long field goal to make, but...
Especially in the wind, Chris.
Yeah, Colton Alexander going to come out. That wind still whipping in from the west, blowing east. And so the Bobcats with it on the near hash mark. They might punt this here just to try and tuck the Cardinals in. I think they will.
Davison doesn't have anyone back.
They might just be anticipating the Bobcats to try and mix something up and go for it here. Alexander dropping back, looking, trying a high one. Look at the spiral on that kick. Beautiful, and it's going to be at the maybe 8-yard line of the Cardinals.
Great awareness there by Davison to clear away from that
area.
football. Yep.
No return necessary for the Cardinals. Don't even need to really catch it. It's going to be deep. Let it take the bounce that it does. So Cardinal offense, 2 drives tonight, 2 touchdowns resulting, and that gives Davison a 14-7 lead as the Bobcats, after converting on 4th and 4 and having it at the Cardinals' 20-yard line, lead them on 1st and 10, scrambled, wasn't able to get anything going. Senior quarterback Cannon Hall looking to make, I mean, he has plenty of promise at this point. Up a touchdown, 1:40 left in the first quarter. Jamerson in shotgun, and he's going to give it to the running back on the far end, looking for some space, but he's going to be attacked by a pack of Bobcats as they rally to the scene. Maybe a short gain there for Jamerson, but if anything, not much. Give him a yard. 2nd and 9 coming up. I like the call there as they likely thought that Hall would keep it himself, so you give it to the man in motion and Jamerson and try and get him out the edge. But the Bobcats were good there, pulled the chain to the far sideline and made a tackle, just kept it to a yard. Davison hasn't passed it once. And deep in their own territory, wouldn't likely see it here, but you never know. 2nd down and 9 coming up for the Cardinals. 14-7 our score, under a minute to play in the first quarter. Jamerson in motion again as Hall's going to keep it. Up the middle looking for space. Cannon in the secondary. One man to beat. And he's gone. Cannon down the sideline. And it's a Cardinal touchdown.
Wow.
No flags on the play. Look at Weingart's on the near sideline. Cannon Hall.
That kid's got some wheels.
90 yards for a Cardinal touchdown. Bedlam in the Cardinal stands as the fans go crazy. A start to this game that only the Cardinals could have predicted.
That would have been his 13 rushing touchdown of the season, Chris.
Unbelievable. Cardinals saying, don't respect us yet. Defending the extra point, Davison about to be on top by 2 scores over the Bobcats after a quarter of play. And the Grand Blanc fans silent on the far end. Kinkle's boot is clean. On senior night, Bobcats find themselves in a bit of a hole. Cardinals in front 21-7 with 37 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Chris, last week, Davison scored 21 points in the first half versus Powers. They've scored 21 points in the first quarter so far tonight.
If there's anyone that's feeling that electricity on that sideline, it's Jake Weingartz. It's one thing to feel it and believe it, that your team can hang, but it's a whole other thing to see it when your team can rise in an early setting of this game. And to take you back, first play of the game, Bobcats with 69 yards for a touchdown. Since then, it's been all Cardinals.
It has been.
The Bobcats in their first 3 games, and this is what really the hype of the media was been, is that the first 3 games, Grand Blanc and their head coach, Clint Alexander, said that they really kind of wanted to keep most of it reserved in terms of offense. Grand Blanc had a high-powered, high-caliber, explosive offense that they wanted to save for Week 4 against Carman Ainsworth, and that paid off. I mean, you look at it was a dominating win for Grand Blanc at home against Carman Ainsworth, they have the reigning SVL Player of the Year last year in quarterback Michael Fletcher, and the Bobcats picked them off 3 times in the first quarter, had a substantial lead going into halftime, and that's kind of looking like what we see here as Kinkle's boot is in the air all the way back to the goal line. And we're going to see a return by Basher Cager. Not much room at all.
Brought down by Cal Stefanko.
Who else?
Probably one of the fastest kids, if not the fastest kid in the field.
Stefanko able to close the gap, and then when the return man, Basher Cager, tries to make any type of move, he closes the gap and brings him down. And so you think there, you just take the yards and take the touchback, as now you've got it at your own, well, not much of a difference, 19 instead of 20, but if anything, you waste time off the clock. 30 seconds left in this first quarter. Bobcats might take a strike here. Looking over the middle, nothing going. Pass in the air, and it was almost intercepted by Stefanko, who, if he would have gotten his hands on it, would have been in the end zone.
I think that was tipped again, Chris, by Stefanko.
Yep. Got his hands on it, disrupted the pass for the Bobcats, and Tyler Leadham, after one pass, 1-for-1, passing touchdown, 69 yards on his clip. Since then, numbers have certainly staggered after that. 25 seconds in this first quarter as the Cardinals are in front, 21-7. Give on the near end, looking for some space, running out of room, though, is Jones as he's forced out of bounds at the down marker.
Nice hard hit there by Peyton Pizzala.
Yep.
That kid's only a sophomore as well.
Lot of young talent on this Cardinal team. As the final seconds are going to tick off of this first quarter, and it's been all Cardinals after the first play of scrimmage. Davison in front, 21-7 after 1 quarter away from Frank Thomas Field. And the Cardinals are letting them know about it. Davison in front early, and we're going to step aside for the quarter change. We'll be back for the second quarter after this. So third down and about 8 coming up for the Bobcats on the first play of the second quarter as we're back on DTV. Chris Jarrett with Andrew Jarrett. Leadham dropping back in the pocket, looking over the field, thrown, and it's caught at first. Bobbled, did he hang on?
Incomplete.
Incomplete. As Andrew mentioned, Latrell Fordham made the grab, and it looked like it was in front of him in stride, but just bobbled it. Would have had the first down, but now you bring up 4th down and 8. And just another tough break for the Bobcats. But in terms of Davison, everything's been going for you so far to start.
It has been. We kind of got lucky there, Chris.
I mean, that, in terms of a game where football is a game of inches, you'll certainly take it.
Yep.
Bobcat students certainly full of energy as we enter the second quarter, and you can't fault them. A lot of game in front of us. Only a 2-touchdown lead for Davison. But for the Cardinals, in a game that felt that they just didn't get the respect that they deserved. Oh, Andy, you know what they did? They started the second quarter going the same direction. They got to flip spectrum.
Why they're moving down the end of the field.
They said, "Hey, hang on a second. We got to flip ends here." And so Grand Blanc, they run one play.
Man, I love seeing all these people come out from Davison.
Yeah. Cardinal fans,
That's
not
right.
a far drive, came out to Frank Thomas Field in what's been a historic rivalry that writes another chapter tonight. Heavy wind into the east, and now finally we've got a signal of a timeout. This might be a substitution as just one man comes on the field. That's tough as the Cardinals
burn a timeout
there as they didn't have as many men as they needed on the field. Gage Harriman went trotting in right towards the end of the kick. So we'll redo this over again. 12 minutes up on the score clock as we're still awaiting the start of the second quarter.
Cardinals need to stay focused.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, this is a game where, you want to feel this early momentum, but you certainly can't lose focus of what's gotten you here and what's kept you to this point. And that's nothing that they need to hear. They all know that fine and well, but it certainly doesn't help, or it certainly helps when you remind them of that in a setting like this.
Well, especially against this high-powered, offense in Grand Blanc, things can change very quickly.
That's right. Teams will score. Points are going to happen. This is just a game of two respected opponents. And if you're the Cardinals, if anyone, that it's not going to be easy. So, full second quarter in front of us until we stop for halftime. And we're set for 4th and 8. Alexander to boot.
Oh, it's a fake.
It's a fake. And it does not pan out for the Bobcats. It looked like Alexander tried to fake the snap going over his head, but everybody home for the Cardinals.
Great awareness there by Davison.
And now Davison, if they haven't had good field position yet tonight, they've got it now. And Davison will have it as Logan Pasco able to get in there and cut it up for the Cardinals. They're going to have great field position, 1st down and 10 at the Bobcat 23-yard line. I mean, you cannot afford that. I know you're looking for anything, but if you're the Bobcats, now you've just given a team who's up 2 scores on you starting the second quarter, field position at the 23-yard line, 1st and 10, a team that hasn't not scored yet on offense.
Right.
They've scored on every single drive. 3 up, 3 down for Davison, able to handle all of them so far. Hall with Jamerson in motion, and he's going to give it to Michael up the middle, trying to shed a tackle and keep his footing, but unable to do so. A little extra after the whistle as Alexander gets his shots in between whistles. 2nd and, I think, loss of 1. Yep, 2nd and 11 coming up after Jamerson just got tripped up a little bit, lost his footing. Wind hasn't changed directions all night, and if in terms of the direction that you're looking, Cardinals are facing west, and so they're going into the wind here.
Chris, has Davison thrown yet?
They still waiting on it. Hall with the run up the middle, shaking tackles, trying to fight his way to the 15-yard line, but he's just tackled in front of it. And a nice carry right there for Cannon Hall on 2nd and 11. More manageable field position now, 3rd down and maybe 6 coming up for Davison.
I mean, when you got a quarterback like Cannon Hall who can do that, why risk it with this wind and throw it?
That's right.
It is dying down a little bit, though.
I think so. I think you're right. And I think as the night comes on, it's going to continue to die down a bit. But the consensus was who's ever going into the wind to start this game is going to have a tough time, and that was Grand Blanc. Hall in the shotgun. Sorry, Terry out to the near sideline. Slazak to the far end. They give up the middle to Jamerson, looking for some space on 3rd and 6. Running out of real estate, but carrying the pile. And gets the 1st down on 3rd and 6 in what looked like would have been a stop for the Bobcats. Jamerson pumps his legs and gets the first down on a heck of an effort right there by the young man running the ball tonight for the Cardinals.
He was carrying 3 or 4 guys.
I mean, at least. You know, you got your own teammates there trying to push the pile, but then you've got the entire other defense pushing you back. And we saw that against Powers where Jamerson numerous times had men on him and kept pumping his feet to get the extra yards, but does so there on 3rd and 6 where the Cardinals were looking at 4th down, but instead a fresh set. 1st and 10, ball at the 11. Call's going to keep it himself up the middle, off a few tackles, but inside the 10 before finally taken down. Gets helped up a bit, gets some help from Jamerson. Nice carry there for the senior on 1st down. Make it 2nd and maybe 9 or 8. Cannon to the near sideline, talking with his head coach, Jake Weingarts. As the clock winds on here in the first half, 9.5 to go in the second quarter. Cannon back to the Cardinal huddle. Grand Blanc, hands on their hips. They just haven't found it yet against the Cardinal offense. Davison been mixing it well. Andrew mentioned we haven't seen a pass yet tonight. Cannon going to give it to Jamerson up the middle. Michael still moving, creeping towards the goal line. Finally brought down where it's going to be 3rd down, I do believe. But very short, very manageable for a high-powered Cardinal offense that can get a few yards when needed. Davison picking up the tempo here as everybody's set. Bobcats are going to have to burn a timeout here as they were just clearly confused and not on the same page. Jake Weingarts gets everybody to the line. They force a Bobcat timeout on 3rd down and 2 to go. Andrew, it just seems that Davison just on offense in terms just been a step ahead of the Bobcats all night. I think right there is a good point.
Yep.
So awaiting the two teams coming back from the timeout. 8:49 left in the second quarter. And allergies are certainly here to stay, as I apologize to you. Frank Thomas Field, location for tonight's contest between Grand Blanc and the Davison Cardinals. Bobcats recently joining the Saginaw Valley League as the league just continues to have more teams come on back. Grand Blanc was in the Kensington Lakes Activities Association, and that was a lot of teams kind of around the Metro Detroit area. Andrew, it had like Novi, Howell, a lot of teams from that area. And just in terms, difficult for teams to have to travel and come to Grand Blanc. So the Bobcats actually voted out and then ruled into the Saginaw Valley League, and now much more appropriate travel for the Bobcats. 3rd and 2. Cannon gives it up the middle. Touchdown, Davison. On
Like
3rd and short, it is Jamerson. Able to get his way into the end zone to make it the 4th touchdown of the first half for the Cardinals.
And that was also Jamerson's personal 4th rushing touchdown of the season.
A guy that's just been able to mix it up for Cannon Hall, who certainly loves to run it himself, but the Cardinals in need of someone to confuse defenses and try and make it a 1-2 punch for the Cardinal offense on the ground, and Jamerson the man to do the job. Pending the extra point, Cardinals up by 3 scores. Kinkle out to do the job, now kicking in the wind. Snap is down as McLaughlin gets it down, and it's through clean. 28-7, Cardinals in front early and having all the momentum over the Bobcats here. 8:45 left in the second quarter.
I'm anxious, Chris, just to see if this Grand Blanc offense is going to respond or not.
Yep. And you know, you're reading, getting prepared for this game, and some of the articles that I saw was, in terms of last year, the Bobcats were a team that struggled getting going early, but, you know, certainly playing a lot of high-powered teams from the Kensington Lakes AA that I mentioned to you a little bit ago, the teams that were in that league, and you can't get off slow starts to the likes of Northville, teams like that. And, I mean, Davison showing tonight that they couldn't either, but you saw that first play where the Bobcats, and if you didn't see it, if you caught us a little bit late after that first try for Grand Blanc, the Bobcats on one play went 69 yards in the air for a touchdown, and it felt early like the Cardinal defense might have their hands full against Grand Blanc, but since then, Cannon Hall settled things down, went the length of the field, got a touchdown to make it 7-7, and then the Bobcats haven't scored since, and Davison especially after that fourth down failed conversion for Grand Blanc. Capitalize on the field position to make it 28-7.
Here, Cardinals are kicking into the wind now.
Kinkle set to boot this away. Keeps it on, or a short one anyways.
Ooh.
Dropped at the 30.
Ooh.
Loose football.
Davison got it.
Cardinals have it at the 33-yard line.
Let's wait for the official signal, but I do believe I did see it.
I saw a white jersey on it. What a kick by Kinkle.
Wow.
And the Cardinals have it 1st and 10.
Bobcats are shocked right now.
Unbelievable.
Did you see that coming, Chris?
I mean, in the wind, you certainly just... I think Kinkle just wanted to try and tuck him deep and pin him with a short return, but you saw that planted. Didn't even move when it hit the ground at the 33, and now the Bobcat defense going to have to bring it back out. And it looks like the official's going to make a call here. I didn't believe I saw a flag on the play.
No, I don't see a flag, Chris.
I saw them talking, and it looked like our head judge was going to make a call as he kind of moved his way to the middle of the field, but I don't believe we have one. So 8:43 left in this first half as the Cardinals have it in great field position for a second drive in a row. Hall keeps it himself up the middle after the fake sweep to Jamerson. Nice carry for Davison there as they continue to chip away at this Bobcat defense who has not had an answer tonight for the Cardinals.
Got to give credit to that offensive line, Chris. They're pushing hard for Cannon.
Yep, that's what makes the wheels turn as that front line for the Cardinals. 28-7.
Temperature's dropping, Chris. Fans are putting on jackets. I see some blankets out there.
And that wind doesn't quit either.
I think that's what our mom would do. She'd bring a blanket to the game.
She would have brought a blanket.
Yep.
Jamerson in the backfield to the right of Cannon, who's going to give it to Michael up the middle, who doesn't have a lot to work with initially, but fights his way to the 25-yard line. Got to bring up third down. Cardinals have not been stopped at all tonight offensively. 4 drives, 4 touchdowns. Recently, the best field position for the Cardinals as they had it right around the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. And it didn't take too much to get the Cardinals into the end zone. Similar situation here after Connor Kinkle kept a short kick, and it planted, stuck at the 33-yard line, and the Cardinals were the first on it. Third down and 3 yards to go as Hall has 2 in front of him. Might follow the pile here. He will. Gets the snap. Patient. Up the middle. And I don't think he got too much there. Maybe a yard or two.
I don't know if he had forward progress, Chris, to get that first down.
Decision time now for the Cardinals as it looks like 4th and 1. You're kicking into the wind. I think here you just trust your offense and you try and go for it and get the yards. We've seen Davison go for it on 4th and short. Yep, so a couple changes as the heavy formation comes off the field. Sullivan and Jamerson back in with Cannon Hall. 4th down and short. Scoreboard shows 1 yard to go. It's a full yard, certainly. Line to gain is the 23-yard line. Sullivan and Slazak out to the left with Harris and Terry split to the right. Cards haven't thrown the ball yet tonight. Davison tries to get the Bobcats moving. They don't. 3 up on the front line, or 4, excuse me, it is for Grand Blanc. Hall on 4th and 1, gives to Jamerson up the middle with space. Gets the first down and then some.
Nice run there by Jamerson.
Carries the pile to the 15-yard line where the Cards will have it 1st and 10. Davison, time and time again, has just stuck it to the Bobcat defense tonight, and that's right, converted. In a game that thought that this would be, and still, I know it's tough to continue to think about this, but we've still got a full half of football in front of us where, Andrew, you're kind of cautious that anything can happen, and you've got every right to be.
Cardinals look confident, though.
They do, and that's the big part about this game. When you're on the road, you've got to have confidence, but also a level head. Understand the opponent lining up across from you is also undefeated in a tough league. 1st and 10. Cannon got to keep it himself and follow his blocks up the middle where he's hit hard at the 15 and didn't get much there. Bobcats now starting to tighten down a bit on defense. Let's see if Davison might try things in the air. Where I talked to Jake Weingarts before the year started, and I said, you're a wide receiver guy, as Jake stands as one of the best wide receivers from the Lapeer community in terms of Lapeer West back when they were around. And I said, is that going to change? Are we going to see a lot of passing? And he said, I think Cardinals are going to continue to do what they do with Cannon Hall and power reads, but he wants to run it and run it and run it. And then when the defense gets too close, try and open things up with a pass. And that might be what we see here as Cannon has nobody in the backfield with him. 2 out to his left and right. Tight end on the line with Johnson. Cannon just going to keep it himself in an empty backfield. Scrambling for the far pylon. Touchdown as Hall walks into the end zone.
A lot of room over there on that far side of the field, Chris.
I think the Bobcats were also expecting a pass on 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Cannon keeps it himself and scrambles for a Davison Cardinal touchdown. And Kinkle out to make this a 4-score game.
Grand Blanc fans are stunned. I would be too.
A full house for the Bobcats at Frank Thomas on senior night. And Davison coming in, putting up a 35-piece with just 5 minutes left in the first half. Kinkle gets his mark. McLaughlin to hold. Snap is a good one. Kick is up and in. 35-7 with 4:59 left in the second quarter. And Grand Blanc, you just have to think, looking at themselves a bit like, we did not expect this.
No, there's still 5 minutes left, Chris, in this second quarter, but Davison's going to have a lot of momentum going into the second half.
Their defense has continued to get to lead them time and time again. And even when the Bobcats are able to try and rally up some type of drive down the field, it's been a shut-of-the-door effort by the Cardinals to turn away Grand Blanc from getting in the end zone. Scored on their first play on a 69-yard touchdown pass over the middle. But since then, the Cardinal defense has been on top.
That was Cannon's 14th rushing touchdown of the season, Chris.
Unbelievable.
Kid is so patient, too. I mean, you can just watch him. The hole's not there, he waits. And then if he sees something open up, boom, he goes for it. And that's a sign of a great quarterback.
Yep. Talked to Jake Weingartz, and he was really excited about having the a luxury is a good word to work with someone like Cannon Hall, who's had the experience. He said, man, in talking to me, he said, man, I haven't had a dual threat quarterback, someone like Cannon who can pass it and throw it in so long. And, he just said it feels good. Kinkle again tries to keep it on the ground, but I think the Cardinals might have moved early.
Kick, Chris.
Same kick right at the 33, almost routine for Connor Kinkle. And the Cardinals, unfortunately, did get an early jump. Let's see how that changes the kick here as the Bobcats. It looked like the same spot. If you look over here at the 30, that is a huge gap for Grand Blanc where no one is at. And that might just be the target zone. Now look at the 45. I mean, there's no one. They've only got, they've got the front 5 up for the return team, but only 2 people up for Grand Blanc after that. And you see a couple men moving a little bit closer, trying to close the gap. They're looking at each other like, well, what do we do? Even the back men for the Bobcats move up a bit. Kinkle to boot. What's he going to do? Again, a little chopper that's in the air. Bounces at the 35. And no return as Broughton is just going to fall on it. And the Cardinal defense says, we'll take that. Tuck him right at the 35-yard line. Not even really an onside kick, just trying to keep it low and preventing a return for the Bobcats, who are just really looking for any reason to try and get themselves going here. And that, a solid kick return, that could certainly do it. And the Cardinals are trying to give little reason for Grand Blanc to get themselves going here before halftime.
Secondary's got to stay focused, though.
You're right. Lot of weapons for Tyler Leadham as he's in the backfield.
They like those little slant passes right up the middle.
Pressure in the backfield, and it's a screen for the Bobcats with some space. Enough to get the first down, but a hard hit at the 50-yard line. Wow, heavy contact there as it looked like Jones had a full head of steam.
It's like that was number 11, Logan Lawton.
Yep. I think he just kind of thought that Jones was going to take that out of bounds, and it looked like that's certainly where the pack was going, but Jones made sure he got one more hit in him before he got the ball right at midfield at the 50. 4:59 left in the first half. As on one play, the Bobcats are able to get a fresh set of downs at midfield now as Leadham drops back looking. With some time as Unger's trying to get to him in the backfield. Leadham scrambling, and he'll just throw it away. Harrison Unger, the sophomore, able to close the gap on the senior quarterback, Tyler Leadham. and force him to just throw it away. You know, he's lucky that, because he just had to get rid of it, he's lucky that there weren't any Cardinals in the relative area. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, great athletic awareness there. Able to pressure the quarterback, waste it down.
Clock stops at 4:40 as that one took 9 seconds for Leadham to scramble, and finally chuck it away.
Hey, Chris, we kind of know Leadham doesn't, he's not known to scramble.
Look at this. Late Bobcat running out on the field. That's not the first time that we've seen this tonight. Grand Blanc just confused with themselves, it looked like. This is an experienced team, not a new coach for the Bobcats. Leadham going to fake the give, a quick throw to the far end, and a drop ball. Asperger, one of the better receivers for the Bobcats, the second drop that he's had tonight. Andrew, he was the man that on the near end had that first down and he dropped it. And now right there, one that looked like it could have been
Second
a gain
drop.
of something, and it just went right off his shoulder pad. So what was on one play a screen pass that worked for about 15 yards, a first down. It's been pressure in the pocket and an incomplete dropped pass for the Bobcats. 3rd and 10. Leadham dropping, looking to his right. Pump fake, trying to air it out long over the end.
Oh,
and a flag flies as what's going to be the play is it was Smith who fell down. Caleb Smith was in the area and fell to the ground. So, I mean, I don't see how that could have been offensive.
Wow.
But you never know.
It's unfortunate, too, because that ball was thrown out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even in the area of the intended receiver. And Smith was the one that ended up on the ground. And the Bobcats on 3rd and 10 just heave up a prayer, and it, you know, they get a call.
Grand Blanc catches a little of a break there.
Yeah, that's bad. Well, Cardinal defense says, okay, we'll do it again. First and 10, Grand Blanc, as the lights now shining at Frank Thomas. Bobbled snap as Leadham's going to take it himself with a lot of space. But quickly, the gap is shut down as Stefanko is first on the scene.
Kid hit so hard, Chris.
Yep. Leadham knew it, too, was kind of trying to work that far sideline, but Stefanko, with a full head of steam, was able to get to the quarterback for a loss of 1 on the play. Second down and 11 after Stefanko is able to drop down the quarterback. Clock continues to tick in the first half, under 4 minutes to play. Cardinals in front 35-7. Leadham alone in the backfield with a man all alone out to his left.
Oh.
A late Bobcat came out on the field. I don't think they saw it, though. Pass over the middle, loose ball. And it's picked off by Davison. Was that Caleb Smith? Yes. How about the redemption after the pass interference call comes down with the interception to give Davison possession at about the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 Cardinals.
Chris, we might have caught a break there. That player ran on the field late. I was waiting for the official to blow the whistle and stop play, but...
Yep. I think you're absolutely right, because the officials did not see Luke Bogan run out onto the field, was certainly late with it, and kind of had his hands out, you know, like frustrated that he wasn't in the game, and then missed the formation call and was quickly coming on the field, what would have easily been an illegal substitution.
Well, they've had about 4 or 5 of those, Chris, where they just run on the field.
I think at least.
Davison starts with the ball again.
Cardinals with it, 1st and 10 at the 16. Hall going to air it out in the air. Harrison Terry there leaps, and that was picked off. No, all the official had his hand said that was going to be an incomplete pass. You see that?
I did see that.
Looked like he had his hands.
The other official kind of called it off and said, no, he did catch it.
I think it looked like an interception, but the Cardinals on their first pass play tonight try to air it out, and Andrew Cannon Hall picked off for the first time this season.
First time he threw tonight?
First time he's thrown tonight, but the first time this year that he's been picked off. No interceptions, a clean slate for the quarterback. And right there, you saw Terry try to get the inside edge, but that ball is a little bit deeper than he thought. Tried to leap in the air and make the grab, but unable to do so. And so now the ball at the 46-yard line after Grand Blanc finally has a big play that they've been waiting for. Leadham dropping, looking, and might strike here. Has the time, airs it out in the air. Cole is ripped down to the ground. And that's just going to be into the end zone. No one in the area. Intended for Erlenbeck as Cole went down to the ground. So 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. Bobcats, after the, they throw an interception. First play for Davison. They give it right back to him on an interception. 2nd and 10. Leadham going to roll out and look. Running out of time quickly. And I think he just ate it himself and took it as a loss on the play. As the Cardinals send the house, and they've just been better up front than the Bobcats tonight, continuously getting to the quarterback. Make it 3rd down and 15 coming up for Grand Blanc. Three and a half left to go in the 2nd quarter as the Cardinals are in front 35-7. Lead them on 3rd down and very long. Dropping back in the shotgun. Everybody coming somehow gets out of the pocket, but finally ripped down in the backfield. Big play as the Cardinals bring the pressure, and Logan French, the senior defensive lineman, gets in there and brings down Leadham. 4th down upcoming. Boy, that's a big play, Andrew, after the Bobcats, a passing team. They just have not had the time to let anything develop as the Cardinals have gotten to the quarterback Leadham all night long.
Yep, Grand Blanc not able to convert there after getting the interception.
Tough break. Cardinals will take it. Alexander set to punt. Boots this one in the air, and boy, we've seen some beautiful punts from him. That one's going to spiral and continue to bounce. Will it get into the goal line?
Ooh.
And I don't believe it will, as it was able to be kept in front and swept away from bouncing into the end zone. Boy, it looked like it was close, but we certainly weren't in the area to see it. But Cardinals will have it at their own 5. 1st and 10, Davison with a good amount of time before halftime, 2:34 left. Last time the Cardinals were out, it was just one play that Cannon Hall tried to Harrison Terry on the near end and was picked off by Miles McNeil, that is, the 5'10 defensive back. Just a junior for Grand Blanc, able to go up in the air and bring it down for Grand Blanc. That was the first drive that the Cardinals were held off of the scoreboard, Andrew.
It'll be interesting, Chris, to see what Davison does here coming off that interception.
I think they go right back to what's been working for them all night. Keep it on the ground. I mean, I think right there that was a good play to, you try to, on just the first play, Grand Blanc likely expecting you to run it in your own territory.
Yeah, maybe catching them off guard a little bit.
You throw it to man-on-man coverage, though, and the worst-case scenario happens in an interception. But no points come of it. Hall with it at his own 5, and he's going to quickly give it to Jamerson, who looks for a gap, makes a man miss, and tries to fight his way to the 15-yard line. A heck of a carry as he at least gets to the 10. Substantial gain for Jamerson there on 1st down. Make it 2nd and about 4.
Jamerson cuts hard, Chris.
He does.
He might not be the fastest guy, but, man, does he cut hard left to right laterally. He moves good.
You see a man limping off. That's the tight end senior Dylan Johnson, as he's able to just get to the sideline. Immediately goes down to his back.
Got to get a trainer over there for him.
Yep. Helped up quickly right back to his feet, but keeping a lot of pressure off that left leg. So we'll keep you updated on that as the Cardinals have it 2nd and 4. Cannon Hall back with Jamerson to his left, and he's got Slazak out as well as Terry. The give to Jamerson, looking for a gap, trying to get to the 15. That's the line to gain, and I think he did.
Yep, 1st down.
I think he got it. 1st down, Cardinals. So the Cardinals keeping it with the ground game, and it's paying off here.
Well, especially you're under 2 minutes, Chris, in this first half.
Yep. It's funny, too, I know we mentioned that there's only been one throw for the Cardinals, and it's been an interception, but when you put it in front of you, Davison leads 35-7. Cannon Hall's line throwing 0 for 1, 1 interception, no touchdowns. You'd think the game would be going one way or another, but it's been the ground game tonight. Give to Jamerson again. Up the middle as he evades the pressure by the Bobcats. Fights his way all the way. What might be a 10-yard gain. Down marker shows 1st down.
Yep.
Another Cardinal first down. Back-to-back first downs just on one carry from Michael Jamerson. Jamerson averaging 8 yards a carry every time he touches the football. Those are awfully productive numbers. Flags fly. Who moved first? I believe it was false start on the Cardinals. That's what the early sign shown from the officials was. Yep. Haven't seen many penalties by Davison offensively tonight.
Nope.
And that one was awfully quick. I didn't even really see Cannon, snap it yet. I just think that it was an early movement by one of the front men for the Cardinals. And so we'll still have first down, but moving back 5. First and 15. I believe, too, about the 20-yard line.
Either team, Chris, really has had a lot of penalties tonight.
It's been clean.
They've been disciplined.
Yep, I think this has been a clean game both ways considered. Pass interference on the Cardinals, but that's really been it defensively. First and 15, give to Jamerson to get up the middle with plenty of space. It's a foot race. Jamerson down the near sideline and is brought down at the, make it 29-yard line, but a huge carry for Jamerson. Only 50 seconds left on the clock as Weingarts calls everybody to the line here. Cardinals trying to move quickly. Davison waiting for a big play as it got closer and closer to halftime. And now in striking distance. 50 seconds left. Cardinals trying to tack on one more touchdown before we pause for halftime. Cannon Hall with it, first and 10 at the 30. Dropping back. He gives it to Jamerson. Couple cuts for him on the ground. You might have to call a timeout here. Yep, and quickly the Cardinals call it as 2 seconds tick off the clock after the whistle, and Weingart's calling for it. He called it right at 36, and clock shows 34. Timeout for the Cardinals with 34 seconds left. You really want to trust the run game for the Cardinals, but I think with only 34 seconds left, and I believe you have, scoreboard shows no timeouts left. I thought maybe Davison had one more in him, but I think here you might have to try and open it up and pass the ball a little bit. And if Cannon rolls out and has nothing, always a kid that can just run it out of bounds or throw it away. But I think you might have to open up the field and, trust Harrison Terry, Brendan Sullivan, Max Slazak, guys of the like to make a catch and get out of bounds. But that might just be what the Bobcats are expecting, and you could see the Cardinals just try and run it. You never know. Second and 9 as the Bobcats are back out from their timeout. Davison getting called back out onto the field. As you see, Weingart's trying to get one more word with his offense to punch it in. Davison could potentially make this, what would be a 42-7 game if they can get it in the uprights and into the end zone first and foremost. So Cards quickly out onto the field. 38 seconds as they fix it and give Cardinals plenty of time. Hall over the middle looking for a man. It's Johnson.
He's got it.
Caught for a Cardinal touchdown. Max Slazak calls it in with 32 seconds left on the clock. Thought it was Dylan Johnson, but the senior able to connect to the senior.
Great pass.
Lofted it right up for him, and Slazak looked like he'd lost his footing a little bit, but stayed right under that football, hauled it in, and then got in the end zone for the Cardinal touchdown.
First passing touchdown tonight for Cannon, Chris.
Just the second time that Davison has moved the ball through the air. First time was an interception. And now the Cardinals able to punch it in with a 28-yard touchdown. Snap is down to McLaughlin. Kinkle with the boot, and it's through.
It's good. He's made everyone tonight.
Cardinals lead by 5 touchdowns with 32 seconds left in the first half. And what has just been a statement first 2 quarters by Davison. Cardinals have just put teams away in all games this year, really except the Carman Ainsworth game. But tonight on the road, now lead by 35 against the Bobcats on senior night.
Chris, you know what's special? Have you looked at the amount of players Davison has on our sidelines?
Yeah.
I would say half compared to what Grand Blanc has.
Yep, maybe a little more than half, but the Bobcats,
that's special.
One of the biggest districts in the state in terms of just gross amount of students. Clarkson up there, Macomb up there, and Grand Blanc, I believe, third in the state just with amount of students. And it shows when you look at their far sideline. But Davison saying all that matters is the 11 that you put on the field. And in the first half, certainly, Jake Weingart saying my 11 is better than yours. Cardinals lead by 35 with just half a minute here in this first half. Kinkle has kept his kick short. Let's see what we see here on his boot. Likely will keep this from soaring in the air. Yep, he'll just keep this a carpet burner. Bounces across the 30, received at about the 20. And Cardinals there quickly.
Hard hit by Logan Pascal.
Cardinal defense fired up, and they'll come out onto the field one last time, as you'll likely see the Bobcats just try and sky it out. Look for another pass interference. They caught one earlier in the first half. Grand Blanc on the far end. Their fans just have not had much to cheer about after the first play of scrimmage. Max Slazak on the near sideline getting all the congrats from the Cardinal fans, coaches. 27 seconds as Leadham's in the shotgun. And Bobcats are going to keep this on the ground with space up the middle. Oh, my goodness. Oh, loose football. Goodness. Pasco's got it. Broadbeck lost the ball on the contact, and Pasco came away with it. Davison's got it with 15 seconds left. Unbelievable.
Just ripped it right out of his hands, Chris.
A first half that has just completely belonged to Davison couldn't have ended in a more fitting aspect. Cardinals looking at each other like, is this happening? We serious?
Well, they were expecting Grand Blanc to pass.
Expecting a pass.
Chris. Yeah.
And it looked like Brobeck had plenty of space, and you thought that maybe the Bobcats would use a timeout. They've got two left and then try and pass it, but coughed up the pill. Davison might take a strike with 15 seconds left. No timeouts, however. And you're going to bring out all the plays in your playbook. Yeah, they might just knee this out.
I think so.
I thought maybe you'd just take a strike to the end zone. Cannon Hall takes the knee, and the Cardinals will take a 42-7 lead into the locker room with them.
And these Davison fans, Chris, they're pumped up.
They are behind their Cardinals tonight as Davison dominates the first half. "24 minutes of football left in front of us, but for now we stop for halftime. 42-7, that score one last time. 15 minutes up on the clock. We're going to step aside on DTV for halftime. We'll be back for the third quarter after the break. Stay with us for a thriller. Well, we're back for the second half from Frank Thomas Field on the campus of Grand Blanc High School. Davison, the Cardinals, and the Bobcats of Grand Blanc High going at it. And it's been all Cardinals on the road in the first half of play. Chris Jarrett rejoining you on DTV, Charter Cable Channel 191. Alongside my broadcast partner and my oldest brother, Andrew Jarrett, tonight. And Andrew, we were talking about how much of a good one we were going to have. And it looked like after the first play, it was going to be a tough contest for the Cardinals. Grand Blanc in the air goes 69 yards for a touchdown, 7-0 lead. But since then, the Cardinals outscored Grand Blanc 42 unanswered points. Opening kick goes into the end zone, actually dropped by Caleb Smith, as the Cardinals won the coin toss back at the start of the ball game and deferred to the second half. The start of the ball game, which feels like a long, long time ago, Cardinals offensively 42 points later, and it's just been all Davison tonight on the offensive side of things. They've picked off Tyler Leadham once tonight, but gotten to him all night long into the pocket, forcing the pressure and making the transfer quarterback from Goodrich get rid of the football quickly and under pressure. And the Davison defense has been shining tonight up against, Andrew, one of the best teams in Division I in Grand Blanc. And that was really what we heard all night, what was going to be a high, explosive, high-paced offense.
Yep.
We just haven't seen it thanks to the Davison D.
Yeah, ever since that first play, first drive, touchdown for Grand Blanc, their offense has just been non-existent.
Not there. It's been a different story. Davison has it, 1st and 10 at the 20. What are we going to see in the second half as Cannon Hall gives it to Jamerson up the middle and didn't get much there on the Cardinals' first play of scrimmage. Cannon Hall keeps it on the ground to Michael Jamerson. Well, we get you some of those stats from that first half, and we're just completely lopsided towards the Davison Cardinals on the road. Davison all-purpose yards, 361. Grand Blanc with just 157. I think the big substantial stat that stands out is the Cardinals on the ground, only passing it twice. But on the ground, Davison running 333 rushing yards for the Davison Cardinals. Bobcats only 22 running the ball. They just don't really run it, and that's what we saw in the first half. Consistent, just trying to pass the ball, or insistent, I should say. And it just wasn't there at all in the first half. Will we see a different story for either team here in half number 2 as we're just underway in the third quarter? Cannon Hall going to give it again to Jamerson around the edge on the far side with some space. Stretching it across the 30-yard line and got the first down. A big carry for Michael Jamerson sets Davison up 1st and 10.
Now, Chris, since Davison is up by 35 points, are we going to see a running clock?
We will. And even when the chains are getting reset here, you see the clock continue to wind on. Or are they going to say that Jamerson was short there? I mean, the down marker, nope, it just switched to first. Yeah, I believe it was a first down, but the chains had not gotten themselves set. But, Andy, you see the scoreboard that the clock continues to wind. Cardinals up by 35. That's the margin, and it's a running clock here to start the third quarter. And if you're the Cardinals, you do not want to consider Grand Blanc out of this game at all.
No, not at all.
No matter how the first half went, you have to keep your foot on the gas pedal. Even when you're up 35 with a running clock, you have got to keep pounding the football offensively and bring the pressure on defense. 1st and 10, Davison. A little over 10 minutes here in the third quarter. 2 minutes gone by. Jamerson up the middle again, moving that pile. And I'd probably say for the first time tonight, the pile moves backwards. And so ball looks like at about the 35, 36-yard line. What in the world's going on?
I don't know.
Looked like Travis Eads was getting a help up off of the ground, but I think halfway up got let go.
I don't know.
Saw him just kind of flail it back down to the ground.
Davison's got a lot of wrestlers out there, Chris. They might be wrestling each other. I don't know. Travis Eads is a wrestler, by the way.
Full of them in a town like Davison. 2nd down and 4 upcoming for the Cardinals. 2.5 gone by here in the third quarter. Davison on the opening drive. Grand Blanc just trying to get themselves going in the second half. Nothing was there for them in the first half. Hall in the shotgun, going to give it to Jamerson, looking up the middle, trying to get that first down. I think he's a few yards short.
I think so, too.
And when I say few yards, I maybe 1 yard short. See the chains get set there. 3rd down and 1 coming up. Davison just needing a yard to gain here on an early 3rd down conversion in the second half.
I don't see Davison passing the ball.
Oh, no.
Hardly at all this second half. They're going to stick to the same game plan they had the first half. It's been working for them.
Yeah, we mentioned just Cannon Hall throwing 1 for 2, and one was a 28-yard passing touchdown, the other an interception. And so complete polar opposites on the passing attempt. One was a great connection with Max Slazak, the senior, for a 28-yard touchdown. 3rd and 1 to Jamerson, leaping over the pile, gets the first down, looking like a track star out there. The transfer from Flint Kersley hurdles the pile and gets a Davison first down, but I believe we've got a down Cardinal.
Who was that, Chris? Number 77, Sean Schofield.
Ooh. Schofield, the senior, a vital part, but gets right back up.
Yep.
Trying to be tough here.
I hope someone got a picture of that, Chris.
What's that? Oh, leaping in the air. Yep. Well, I do know that Evan Petzold, a good friend of mine, attends Central Michigan with me down on the sideline, does great work for ESPN 100.9 FM, who's in the house tonight for what they've tagged their SVL Game of the Week and what most are saying the SVL Game of the Year, but first half was certainly one-sided in favor of the Cardinals. 1st and 10. Cannon again going to give it to, no, it looks like Caleb Smith. Yep. Just shy of the 50-yard line. And a personnel change to give Jamerson a rest after hurdling the pile there, but personnel change, but doesn't really show in terms of yards gained as Smith is able to do the job there, gets a nice chunk off the portion. Second, and scoreboard shows 4 coming up, 7:15 left in the third quarter as that running clock just continues to work. Now, we really haven't seen it at play yet. Only a few, I'd say 1 or 2 first downs for the Cardinals on their opening drive. And, you know, that's maybe 30 seconds, give or take, but touchdowns, things like that. So here's 2nd and 4 for the senior quarterback Hall as he again gives it to Smith. Caleb meets the pile hard and might not have gone anywhere. Coming up with the pressure was Tony Davis, the 6'1 senior for the Bobcats. Off the edge for Graham Blanc.
It's like 3rd and 4.
Yep, didn't get any yards to gain there as Cardinals have to get past midfield. 3rd and 4 upcoming. We've seen Davison great on 3rd down conversions tonight. We mentioned that interception by Cannon Hall was immediately after a Cardinal interception, and they had it in their own end. And Davison just tried to shoot the dice and air it out, intended for Harrison Terry, who was right up in the air, but ball came down eventually to Cortez Tolles.
Got a flag.
And a flag flies as Cannon Hall and Cardinals signaling towards the Bobcat front line. Trying to pitch their case that it was Graham Blanc that got the front line to move.
I think it was Davison that moved, Chris.
You see Cannon Hall in the mix, trying to convince the officials, but let's see if they buy it. Cardinals suffered a bit in the first half. In terms of penalties, it was tough in that aspect in terms of trying to stay disciplined. 4 flags flown against the Cardinals and 40 yards assessed against them that moved them back. Graham Blanc just 1 flag on a 5-yarder. And the officials say that was encroachment that got the front line to move for the Cardinals.
Okay. I take that back.
And that's going to give Davison a first down. If it's 5, only needed 4 to get to midfield. And it will be. Chains moving. 1st and 10 Cardinals.
Seems like everything tonight has been going Davison's way.
And I think to captivate that was right before halftime.
Yep.
Bobcats had it with 37 seconds left right after the kick. And Davison might have been expecting Graham Blanc to air it out, and their coverage showed that. Middle of the field was wide open, and the Bobcats kept it on the ground. Ryder Broadbeck, the 5'10", listed as a quarterback. He actually started the season. As the Cardinals now have it all the way up to about the 39-yard line after that one. I think we might have seen a personal foul assessed afterwards. Because, I mean, it was only an encroachment. So now we've got another stoppage. Oh, and some extracurriculars and a flag is going to fly. Cardinal fans, I think rightfully so, after the Bobcats getting a little bit frustrated with the outcome that they've had to experience tonight.
Yep. If I'm Coach Weingartz, I'm telling my guys, hey, look, stay disciplined.
Yeah.
Keep you know.
Don't give them any
keep
reason.
a level head. Because you know they're going to try to get in your head, especially if 35 points.
See the officials still talking as the Bobcats in the corner of your screen headed to their sideline. Davison huddled up on the near edge. Clock is frozen at 5:36. 42-7 our score is. The Cardinals have melted away a healthy portion, more than half of this clock here in the third quarter. Cardinals had it to start this drive, Andrew, all the way back at their own 20-yard line. And they now have it as the chains are going to move. It was at the 36. Now the ball's at the 24. 2 Grand Blanc penalties. One was against the Cardinals right after the snap, but I believe that the Bobcat penalty will move it all the way to about the 28, or no, 24-yard line. Got confused there. This Davison drive so far, 57 yards after starting at their own 20. Now at the Bobcat 23, knocking on the door of the red zone.
Looks like Caleb Smith in the backfield again.
Yep.
Giving Jamerson a break.
I think you should, too.
Yeah, it's smart.
Given this. First down for the Cardinals. Smith up the middle. Bulldozes his way past the 15 and all the way down to about the 12-yard line. And is going to give the Cardinals a fresh set of downs on just first down. So you take Michael Jamerson out, and you've got Caleb Smith, who's certainly doing the job and is going to be around Andrew next year for the Cardinals, likely in the backfield for Davison. Yep. And at this point, it's a tryout. When you think long term and you look to next year, you're trying to pitch your case why you should be the start man come August. Under 5 minutes left here in this third quarter of the Cardinals have really eaten away a large chunk of this third quarter thanks to this running clock. 35-point lead. First down and 10. Hall in the backfield gets the snap, gives the ball right up the middle to Caleb Smith, and he's into the end zone for a Cardinal touchdown. Davison moving seamlessly down the field on the Bobcats and running it up now. Pending the extra point, Davison about to go up by 6 scores. And just tightening the grip on the Bobcats. Andy, you see the Grand Blanc far end. I don't know if it's just the fans still at the concession stands or what, but those stands are thinning.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
As they have not gotten what they bargained for on senior night. The Davison fans came in droves and have stayed for this ball game. And watch for this one on the highlight zone tonight on ABC 12 for the highlights. That's going to certainly be one to watch. Extra point is up and good. You see the scoreboard change to 49-7. Cardinals all over Grand Blanc on the road, mind you. And it's just a game that, as I know, as we get closer and closer to the end of this ball game, we're going to keep on repeating it. But this is just an outcome that nobody except the Cardinals inside that locker room had called for. Davison certainly believed in themselves that they could come out and perform in this game, but I think that the magnitude of the lead that they've got now of 42 points has shocked many, to say the least.
Chris, this has to be a great confidence booster for Davison. Especially knowing they got De La Salle coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very tough team to beat.
Yep.
They've put up 49 points here tonight.
Yeah, against a team that is ranked in the top 10 in the state in Division I.
I think they're number 7.
They're right at 9, actually.
9? Okay.
But don't sell them short at all in terms of any means. Davison hovering right around the top 10 at 11. That was where they were marked, but watch that switch after this week's outcome. 49-7. As Kinkle is set to boot this one into the sky. Wind has died down a bit, but he's going to keep this one on the ground, rolling past the 30. Ball still loose. And again, you see Broughton was just going to fall on it. Cardinals owning special teams tonight. Kinkle has had 2 touchbacks kicking it off. He's even had a little, I would even say a pooch kick, but not even that. It went further than that, but divoted right at the 33-yard line where Davison was able to fall on it and turn that into a touchdown. And so the Cardinals have owned the special teams tonight.
They have. He's just completely taken away the threat of a possible return.
What was funny, too, was that the Bobcats going into this game said, if we can get the Cardinals to punt, we'll be all right. Well, Davison has yet to punt tonight, and that has not been the case. See the pile right there at the line of scrimmage. I don't think that forward progress got the Bobcats much there. Maybe move the down marker a few inches, but second down and make it, I'd say, arguably 10-9 coming up for Grand Blanc. So it's still Tyler Leadham in the shotgun as there's 3:35 left in this third quarter. takes the snap, looking to his left, sails it in the air, and it's well away from Latrell Fordham. And it's just been one of those nights. Fordham was wearing 84 right there by the down marker as he just ran a quick curl of about 10 yards and looked like he was there. Cardinal secondary just likely keeping the Bobcat wide receivers in front of them at this point, not wanting anything to sail out long, so you'll give them those throws that reach the flats, but not much more after that. And Fordham set himself, turned, and was waiting for it, but the senior transfer quarterback just had it well to the right of Anthony Fordham. Rolling out now is lead him on 3rd and 9. Looking, running out of time, flings it, and it's well short, incomplete, 4th down pending.
Chris, we're looking at 4th and 9. Davison's got Brendan Sullivan that also plays quarterback.
Yeah.
At what point, as a coach,
I think start of the 4th
do you
quarter.
look at your quarterback situation and go,
That's a great point.
I'm gonna pull the plug here.
Yep.
On Hall, make sure to keep him safe and get some reps in for Brennan.
We've seen leads of this sizes for the Cardinals this season so far, certainly not against the caliber of opponent of Grand Blanc, but at home against Bay City Western, even Flint Powers, where we saw Sullivan come in and take the snaps. But for Sullivan, it was certainly not until well towards the end of the game, as Davison's got no one back to return the kick. And I think wise to do that. Yeah,
no need to.
Yeah, I think, you risk a muff punt, anything like that. Just let them kick it away and down it wherever, because the Cardinals have had it as back as their 5-yard line and have been able to turn it into a touchdown tonight. So they say, put it wherever, and we'll put our offense out there and move down the field. Grand Blanc defensively has just not been able to shut the door on Davison. Cardinals still huddled up on the near sideline as the Bobcats await this high-powered Davison offense that is about to put 50 up on the scoreboard. 49-7 our score with just under 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. We've only seen a drive apiece by both teams tonight. Cardinals drove 80 yards for a touchdown. Grand Blanc went 3 and out. And it just seems like offensively there's no motivation for the Bobcats. Cannon got to give it up the middle.
That's 18. Blake Summers.
We saw Summers come in for the Powers game at the end of it. Clock continues to melt away.
He's only a junior, Chris, so we'll see him next year, too.
Couple of options for the Cardinals heading into next season. Could even see a dual back. 2 guys back there for the Cardinals next year, because you've got Brendan Sullivan, who will likely take over the Davison program under center. Cannon Hall, the senior, now out of the game.
Here we go.
Gets the high fives from the Cardinals on the sideline as the senior quarterback has done the trick against Grand Blanc tonight in week 5. Brendan Sullivan going to drop back, looking to throw pump fakes over the middle in the air. He's got Terry.
Oh.
Still loose, and he dropped it. Harrison Terry might have gotten a bit too excited as he was wide open at about the 35-yard line and dropped it. Andrew, what a great throw by Brendan Sullivan on his first attempt, but Terry just couldn't haul it in.
That's all right.
Davison trying to make this one hurt a little bit more, as that one was wide open. Men in the area for Grand Blanc, but not really too close to make a play on it.
Well, Terry had him by at least 2 or 3 steps.
He was right there. He would have caught it with some room, and I think he was thinking about what he was going to do after the catch a bit too early. Clock winds down. Final moments of the third quarter. The running clock gets us to the 4th. Davison, a 49-7 lead over the Grand Blanc Bobcats with 12 minutes up on the clock, and if it goes as quick as that third quarter did, we're not far from a final here from Frank Thomas Field. Approaching 9 o'clock, about 10 minutes outside. All fans, Grand Blanc, Davison fans coming out tonight to watch 2 big-time juggernauts in the SVL Red go at it. And we just have not seen that between the 2 tonight, as Grand Blanc came out and struck first, the 69-yard touchdown pass, and where Davison fans were kind of tugging at their collar, looking at each other going, this might be a tough game. And from that point on, the Cardinals outscored the Bobcats 49 points unanswered.
Keep thinking of the Lions the first game. That pick 6 interception, it was like, all right.
Yep.
And then it just went
down. You get a pick 6 defensively, and then from that point on, no answers. And that is, a staple example. Davison now going from right to left, west to east. and with the wind, if you really want to think about it, and it's helped Davison all night long. Fresh 12 up on the clock. Brendan Sullivan recently in the game, and the sophomore going to start the fourth quarter for the Cardinals. A bit of a high snap, but he's going to give it up the middle to Summers. Across the 40-yard line, just in front of the 45. Not enough for a first down on 2nd and 7, but certainly gets it close. Or 3rd and 7, excuse me now, 4th and 7. Let's see what the Cardinals do here. Not many yards to get.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more like 4th and 3.
It's tight.
Right, yeah.
Weingart sends Sullivan back out there.
4th and 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. But I think you go for it certainly as well. You keep the ball and you continue to kill out the clock. 4th and 2, Cardinals going for it about 30 seconds into the fourth quarter. Brendan Sullivan, backup quarterback for Cannon Hall, who's played all of this game except for the final minutes of the third quarter and will sit out the rest of this fourth quarter. Snap to Sullivan, going to get it to Summers up the middle, who gets the yards to gain, across the 45-yard line and just shy of the 50, but able to do the job and get Davison a first down on a fourth down conversion.
Davison continuing just to control the game, Chris, even when they don't have their first stringers in there.
You know, the big thing about, you think back about the Carmen game, and it was the Bobcats who could they could do nothing but swarm the football. And they were able to cover Fletcher's routes all night long. And that was really the big thing that they could do, is they were able to get to Fletcher and limit his options. But they just could not stop the run game. And the Cardinals, a team that only runs, pass the ball hardly at all, twice under Cannon Hall and Sullivan with one attempt there. Nothing but
so
running
many
the ball.
weapons, though, offensively, Chris, with receivers.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They run the ball a lot, but they can pass willingly at any time.
Give to Summers again as he gets across the 50, but yanked backwards. Let's see where they mark him. 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter as the Cardinals are eyeing a Week 5 win and will stay undefeated atop the SVL Red. Entered tonight, both teams at 4-0, 2-0 in the SVL as Harrison Terry makes his way out. And you can tell such a competitor wanted to stay in this game. Likely still thinking about that pass that he had over the middle. Couldn't hang on to. 2nd down and 8 coming up. Under 10 minutes in this fourth quarter to go. Cardinals utilizing this running clock as they would like to hang on and kill most of this clock that they can in this fourth quarter and keep the Bobcat defense out there, a team that's been unable to answer all night long. Sullivan with the shotgun snap, gives it to Summers, and the pile's going to take him to about the... Oh, flag's going to fly on the play, and that might be against the Bobcats.
What'd you see? Late hit? Or?
Yeah, it looked, and you heard a couple oohs, too, as Summers went down hard, and then you saw a couple more Bobcats moving towards that line of scrimmage. I'd see no reason for the Cardinals at this point where they've got their backmen, their second stringers in there to be doing anything that aggressive. But we'll see what we got. Personal foul on Graham Blanc as a signal. Clock stopped at 9:19 as they're going to move the football forward 15 yards. And after Graham Blanc was going to be looking at a 3rd and 7, is now a 1st and 10. Bobcats have been clean tonight with the penalties, but that one right there coming at a costly time when you're just trying to get any type of stop that you can on defense, and it gives Davison a fresh set. Cards have had plenty of breaks tonight, and they'll take this one here. Graham Blanc, a previous longtime rival in the Big Nine and recently joining the SVL. Lots of renewed rivalries. Powers back, Carmen back, Graham Blanc back. A lot of familiar names. The give up the middle past the 30-yard line as you hear the wind pick up. Under 9 minutes to play as the clock will continue to move. Big carry for the Cards on first down as Summers tries to get closer and closer to that goal line. Cardinal fans, plenty of reason to
be
celebrate
excited.
this win tonight. Coming into a week where you thought Graham Blanc hot off of a big win against Carmen Ainsworth at home. Plenty of reason to celebrate. Graham Blanc and Carmen, longtime rivals on the hardwood, on the gridiron.
On the golf course.
Athletics across the board. Story's the same with the Cardinals and the Bobcats. Give on 2nd down and about 5 to go. And nothing going there, maybe behind the line of scrimmage. Short gain, if any, for Gabe Smith. Just a freshman into this ball game.
Kid's a tank.
Yeah, he is too. I mean, when you talk to him and you meet him and you're standing in person to him, the mind, or the word on your mind should say, is not freshman.
No. Another wrestler, Chris.
Full of them in the town of Davison. Hard not to find one almost.
Yep.
You got to look under a few rocks before you find someone that doesn't have some type of ties in Davison wrestling. Sullivan's still in the ball game as Cannon Hall is now taking this one in from the sideline. The senior can enjoy this. He'll keep it himself on the far end. Makes a cut up the middle and gets the first down on foot as the clock will continue to wind on. 3rd down and about 6, and Sullivan pulls the give and keeps it himself. Kind of displays that speed that he has a little bit there.
Coach Weingart has to be licking his chops, Chris. I mean, after Cannon leaves, he's got another great quarterback to work with.
And Brendan Sullivan, just a sophomore, we saw as a freshman play varsity basketball last winter for the Cardinals. Great athlete for Davison, and then was the JV quarterback last year in his freshman year, and then right up to varsity for him, getting these reps while he's still young and raw to this varsity level. But you certainly can't tell it with the way that he plays, especially here in the 4th quarter. You see right there the speed. High snap, he's able to reel it in. They give up the middle to Smith, trying to follow a few blockers. Moves his way closer and closer to that goal line.
Is that going to be still 2nd down, I believe?
It's awfully close to that goal line. Yep, it's going to be short.
Okay. This 4th quarter just flying by with that running clock. Already down to 6 minutes.
Little over 6 minutes as Sullivan is just waiting for the hand signals from the official, counting the seconds on the play clock. That's how he gets his mark, if you're wondering what the delay is. Sullivan with the snap to give up the middle as Smith is met immediately but keeps running his feet, and he's going to be pushed back a bit.
He's determined to get that touchdown, Chris.
He's got his dad, Mark Smith, right in front of us. Wants to see his son come away with a touchdown tonight.
That'd be pretty special.
Oh, yeah. Gabe, just a freshman. He's had his fair share of older brothers. Had Ellis in my grade. Play with me in the Davison football program. Lots of players on this team, too, with older brothers that just are kind of raised in that mentality of working for what you got, especially as a youngest. I can certainly attest to that with you. 5:10 left in the 4th quarter. Sullivan with Smith to his left. And he's going to give it to the freshman up the middle, trying to get to the goal line. And he's going to be down to about the 5 on 3rd and 4. Did he get the first down, though?
I think he got the first down.
Yep, 1st and goal for the Cardinals as Gabe Smith is able to lower the shoulder and get the yards to gain for a first down. You can just hear it.
I wouldn't want to be in front of that kid.
No. Sullivan from the near sideline. 4.5 left to play in this 4th quarter, and a touchdown or any points here will move the Cardinals past the 50 mark.
Chris, you have a